Welcome to Speedcubing 101. This is Cube Mom, and this is my first episode post Rubik's World Championship 2025. You may hear it in my voice. I am not fully recovered just from all the excitement and the action. Sometimes people don't believe I'm an introvert, but this is an example of how 1000% I am slowly recharging back to normal levels now. That said, I really wanted to capture the experience of Worlds for you before it was too far in our rearview mirror. But here's the thing. I was volunteering. So during all the competition hours, I wasn't out on the floor meeting people and participating in a way that I could really comprehensively recap Worlds for you. At the same time, almost every episode at least mentioned Worlds on this podcast. So thankfully, I found someone who competed in official events and unofficial events. He's actually one of the people who had the most interactions with cubers who weren't competing. He interacted with competitors who've been around for a long time, but also new competitors. He interacted with cuber supporters and families. He's also in the unique position where he also worked with organizers, sponsors, and the live stream team to make certain parts of Worlds happen. He actually emceed the Nations Cup event and had a fundraiser for cubes to give for children and families in need. And yes, he also happens to be a YouTuber with 1.65 million subscribers, where he shares wholesome cubing content. Tingman is here to share his experience at the Rubik's World Championship 2025 here on Speedcubing 101. But during this episode, you'll also hear us go into some tips that he has for young YouTubers, because I know a lot of kids are making channels now and wanting them to grow. One thing to note in this episode of Speedcubing 101, it was not recorded at Worlds, so you don't hear the normal competition sounds in the background like some of the episodes before this one. But since it was an online interview, you're going to hear Tingman's budgies in the background. Stay tuned at the end for a little surprise. But right now, here is Tingman with background vocals from his budgies. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
Welcome to Speedcubing 101. Today I have a special guest, fresh back from the Rubik's World Championships 2025 in Seattle. And he is the senior world champion. Welcome to Tingman.
Hello, good day, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Tingman, let me ask, what was it like competing at Worlds 2025?
Worlds 2025 was crazy. It felt like just a confluence of every single thing cubing in my life and in all these things around the world that just like culminated in this one event, you know, seeing people from all over the world just in the same place compete and enjoy this hobby that they all love. It was everything. I don't like to say that I've got a favorite competition, but this could be it.
Okay, that's a big statement. Okay, we're going to get into why you think this could be your favorite competition ever. Give me some context. How many comps have you attended? How many have you organized in the background yourself? How many or which major championships have you attended?
Yeah, so this is competition number 56 for me. And of those 56, I've maybe organized a third of them. So the ones locally in my city in Brisbane, Australia. It used to just be me when I first started out. I mean, there were people organizing before, but when I started in 2018, I was the main organizer for a few years. And since then, you know, Vicky and some other people in Brisbane have been like really spearheading that. So I don't have to organize as many. But this was really special. Like, obviously, you know, biggest competition. I was going to say my biggest competition, but it was everyone's biggest competition who attended because it was the biggest competition in cubing history with 2,000 competitors. And what was it? Another 4,000 spectators or something silly like that.
4,500 spectator tickets were sold.
It was crazy. It was big beyond belief. Calling it big just doesn't feel like it does it justice to this competition. And, you know, I've had the privilege of attending 2 world championships before this. So I went to South Korea in 2023 and then 2019, which was my second year of cubing. The world championships was in Melbourne in my country. And so I think that was only my maybe fourth or fifth competition or something like that.
Whoa.
But, you know, it wasn't too far away. And so we packed the family up and went down, and it was so much fun. And I think that was a pretty big catalyst in just getting me going in my YouTube channel and, sparked that flame when it comes to my love for cubing.
From Australia in 2019 and in South Korea in 2023, like how have you seen things grown and especially because you have organized, you know what goes on behind the scenes and the details and the fires you have to put out and all the things. How have you seen things grown over the years?
Yeah, well, it's 2019 was already so big, right? Like having only attended a few before that. I mean, that was the competition where the Netflix documentary was filmed.
Yes.
And so I remember seeing that crew going around following Max Park and Felix Zemdegs. And I mean, that was special just seeing that, giving me a bit of a sense of like, all right, this is big. So that happened in Melbourne, and then Korea. It just in terms of scale, I think topped that. Just seeing even more people from around the world, I think that was a greater representation of, definitely Asian countries in South Korea. But you just definitely had that sense in 2023. Speedcubing had matured even more, even in terms of like the times that people were putting down. Like the winning 3x3 average in 2019 was like a mid 6-second solve average. And in 2023, it was mid 5 seconds. And in this one, it was a low 4 seconds, which doesn't even make any sense to think about that. And
the whole podium was sub 5 seconds.
It doesn't make sense at all. I remember chatting to Ethan Pride and Kerry Jarman, who were some of the main organizers of Worlds 2019. And they did such an amazing job. But by the end, they looked like they'd just come back from war. They looked like these war-torn veterans who had just seen it all, and their faces were like, we're never doing this ever again. But I mean, hats off to them and to all of the organizers for every major champs since. It is such a labor of love that it's not, I mean, these are volunteers, right? Like no one's getting paid. They are putting in countless hundreds of hours into organizing this. I am just so grateful. I thank them every time I see them, and I still feel like I'm not thanking them enough for what they've done to make so many people's dreams come true of attending something like this, but then also, doing well on the world stage, being able to meet everyone. It's because of this handful of people who have put in more than you and I might ever realize.
Yes. And so much that's not seen or understood. Okay, so you were also working with the organizers because you were emceeing the Nations Cup. How was that?
That came about in a really interesting way. It's the Rubik's Nations Cup, and so they wanted a Rubik's ambassador to do that. I was very honored to be asked. I personally felt they had better options, but hey, if they asked, sure. I mean, what a privilege, what an honor to do that. So I watched a few of the previous Nations Cups to prep for that, to figure out what I should say, to look at, things that could go wrong. It didn't stop things from going wrong. They were pretty ambitious in terms of this being the Nations Cup with the most number of countries represented. And that's because it was the first Nations Cup where they didn't have multiple teams from one country. So in 2023, I think there was like China 1, China 2, China 3, same for USA. But this time it was just 32 countries and one team each, which makes more sense. But, logistically, it means you need to find 32 times 3 people like backstage before the event starts. And it was just really difficult to do that. Add to that, miscrambles and, cubes coming out that were wrong. It was so much hard work, but it was fun, right? Like it was a lot of fun. It was a bit of a photo finish at the end as well. The top 4 seeds going into the Nations Cup ended up being the top 4 countries, which was really cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of weird speaking to that many people. I'm not sure if I've spoken to live to that many people before. The audio was also kind of weird. I didn't get to hear. I didn't know how loud I was talking. It was because it was just a noisy venue with that many bodies in the room, and everyone's just so excited. And so there were all these things that we can learn from. But yeah, what a privilege! It was really fun.
Do you get nervous with a live audience like that?
I was a teacher in my previous life, and so no,
This is nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's bigger. It's bigger than a classroom of 30 kids, but I cannot say that I get nervous. I mean, maybe the idea of it, like maybe just before I go up, but otherwise, once I'm there, I'm pretty happy to talk to a big crowd.
What did you teach? Just curious.
I taught science. I was a high school science teacher.
Now, you competed, you hosted the Nations Cup, you also participated in the unofficial events.
Yes.
How is that side of things?
I'm not going to lie. I think I was more excited about that than the actual events. It's not very common that you get to participate in unofficial events. Plus,
Which ones were you?
yeah, so
signed up for?
signed up for almost all of them. Magic and Master Magic were the only two that we didn't do because we don't know how to. I did actually bring them. So I did actually bring, like a Magic, thinking that if I had time, I would. And that didn't end up happening. But yeah, on day one, we did Mirror Blocks. Day two was FTO, Face Sending Octahedron. And then on day three, we did Team Blind, my daughter and I. And yeah, we practice obviously for the main events, but if you, probably 90% of our practice leading up to Worlds were for the unofficial events. At any point of time in our house, my daughter had mirror blocks in her hands, and I had the FTO. And yeah, it was weird that's what we were excited about, but that's what we were looking forward to the most.
Love your honesty. How did you feel about your results?
Really happy with my results. One of those times where my average was like better than my previous best single, right? Like that, big
Wow.
improvement for FTO. I still have a long way to go in terms of, trying to become world class. But yeah, I got a 51-second average for FTO, which I'm very happy about. My daughter also popped off. She went crazy with mirror blocks. I knew that she was good at mirror blocks. I just didn't have a sense of how good she was. But yeah, she made it into mirror finals, which is
Nice.
which was my highlight.
Now, part of being at Worlds, you were also one of the stars of the autograph booth. What was it like meeting so many fans and seeing them line up as far as the eye can see to meet you?
Yeah.
And to get a photo with you and an autograph?
Yeah, it was a bit surreal. I mean, we have a sense of, I guess, how much our videos get watched and are enjoyed by the numbers, but seeing people in real life and then hearing their stories and hearing, as a parent, hearing from other parents about just what everything from like, thank you for the, how inspiring and everything you've been to, like, thank you for being a babysitter. I thank you that I can plot my kids in front of the screen and know that they're watching wholesome, good content.
Right.
And I'm like, say no more. I know exactly what you mean when you say that as a parent.
Yes. They trust the person who is on the screen.
And I'm the same, right? Like there are safe YouTube channels that I'm very happy for my kids to watch. And I know that, they're going to get good stuff there. But yeah, just meeting people in real life and hearing how much they enjoy it is just, that's next level. That's so much more special than, just reading a comment on YouTube. So I really appreciated that. Got overwhelming at times, obviously, because we had 1 hour given to us at the autograph booth. And then on top of that, at the Rubik's booth, they also set aside 30 minutes a day. And so we did a total of, 3 hours of just straight signing and photos over the 4 days. And that still wasn't enough. There was still a lot of people who missed out. And I both felt really bad for them. But then the reality is I had a job to do as well. There were videos that I needed to make. And we did our very best. I think we got to meet almost everyone who wanted to meet us. But yeah, it was overwhelming. That's the best word for it.
I think it's very generous of you and everyone who was part of that to give your time, because you're also competing and you also have other responsibilities and you also need to preserve some energy for other things.
Yeah, but this is important, right? Like when my kids get to meet someone that they admire, for that person, it's like, okay, you are the 1000th person that I have taken a photo with. But then for my kids, it's their one moment. It is the moment. And I try and remember that whenever someone comes up, that is their moment. I've got to make it special for them.
So you were quite busy. So my cuber was competing not far from your daughter. And then I saw her put some marshmallows in her mouth. So I thought, I better record this for him.
Yes. Thanks for doing that.
And little did I know until I saw your video that this was all, she had it all taken care of. She was recording herself. It was for your video. On top of everything, you were creating content every day and editing it every night.
Yep.
How do you fit this all in?
Look, I think you choose your poison and then you just go for it. This was all self-inflicted. So a couple of months ago, I came up with the idea of, I knew that I wanted to make vlogs. I was pretty sure I was going to make daily vlogs. So 4 videos in total of the 4 days. And then I came up with the crazy idea of what if I release them like in real time? And the other YouTubers that I spoke to all basically said, don't do that. That's a terrible idea,
Right.
which I agreed with. But one person said, go for it. And I was like, yes, your voice is the one I shall listen to. I just needed one person to
Oh my
affirm this
gosh.
crazy idea. And I knew it would be insane, but it was the most fun thing ever. So much prep went into it. So this is
Yes, I see
there are
that.
like pages and pages of documents of planning, and I have an editor that I work with, and he is, we made use of the time zone difference so that I could, so weeks and weeks of
Yes.
planning, right? Literally mapping out all the major story beats of all 4 videos, and then when each day finished, I rushed back to the hotel room and put in maybe 3 to 4 hours of editing on my side, and then handed it over to him. I went to bed, and he continued maybe another like 8 to 10 hours. And then in the morning, quick revisions or just, yep, that'll do. And off you go. And it gets uploaded. And then rinse and repeat for all 4 days. And it was great. I thought that I would be just completely smashed at the end and never wanting to do this again. But I literally spoke to my editor yesterday and he was like, when are we doing this again? He's just as crazy as I am. It was a lot of fun, and it worked with the fundraising that we were trying to do. I think it worked with just like getting hype going as well, which is something that Rubik's wanted because they sponsored me flying there, but also some of these videos. Their heart is supporting the Speedcubing community on a whole, but just like really adding to the energy and hype. And so when they heard this idea, they really backed it as well and said, is there anything that we can do to help make that happen? Because I think they saw the value of just what it would do with, including the whole world in what was happening at that very moment. So,
Yes.
yeah, had a lot of support from lots of different groups.
I think I know it's a lot for you and your editor, but the having it in real time really, especially for the people at home who couldn't make it, they feel even more a part of it because it's not like it's over and done and now you're catching everything. It's like you're right there experiencing it. So is this the first time you've done something like this where you've created daily videos in real time?
I believe it is. I think I've made videos with like really short turnaround times before, but nothing like this.
Well, now the bar is set. So the next major championships, everyone's going to be expecting a lot from you.
Yeah.
Okay, now the fundraising campaign. Tell me more about that. Is this something you've done before? What an amazing idea. Yeah,
fundraising is a really important thing for me and for, I think, a lot of my audience as well. I have always, as a person of faith, I believe that we're put on this world to make this world a better place, for the good of others. And so wherever we can, we should improve the lives of others. And so I have done several charity live streams on my channel before. And this would be the 4th one that I've done. And it took on lots of different forms as we were planning. But eventually, after discussions with the Cubicle and Rubik's, we decided, what if we raise support to get Rubik's Cubes that we could donate to kids. There are a lot of really wonderful kids and toy charities. So providing toys and providing things to children who are either they're homeless or they just don't have access to stuff. And, obviously we want to give them food and lodging, but we also actually just want to give them a childhood. And providing toys is a really big part of that. So I did a lot of research and so Rubik's themselves, they are going to be donating a few hundred cubes because of this. And then through the Cubicle, they do this, every now and then. But I mean, we ended up raising enough to get 2,500 Rubik's Cubes, which is crazy. It's probably too
Wow.
much for any like one charity, which is exciting because it means now we get to distribute that amongst different
Yes.
charities. I'm going to find out too how I can even get some sent here to Australia because there are local charities as well. The local children's hospital here in Brisbane also accepts toys. And I mean, that would be so cool to be able to give Rubik's Cubes to children at the hospital who would, you know, I'll probably be really happy to have a puzzle like that. So that's going to be stuff that will happen over the next few months, maybe for the rest of this year, as we just figure out the logistics of that. But yeah, that happened. That's right, live. And there was a total, I think, of like $7,000 that was donated, which might actually even buy us more than 2,500 cubes. That was my conservative estimate. I'm still shocked that we managed to do that. I'm just so grateful to everyone who backed that. It's only just sinking in for me as well.
That's amazing. And that's not just your generosity with it, but your thoughtfulness into it to make it meaningful for those donating, but also for those receiving it. And I mean, I've talked to so many cubers, even some of our top cubers, who say, you know, it all started by a gift. I got the cube as a gift.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's for a lot of cubers, I think the cube has allowed them to connect in with a community and with, you know, some sort of, I don't know, found family that they maybe didn't have access to. The cube is so powerful for that. I think the kind of people who also maybe gravitate towards solving a Rubik's Cube might maybe be ones that are, well, why not? Let's do the generalizations. Perhaps the ones that aren't as like sporty or aren't as extroverted, and so there is something really powerful about this shared hobby where you don't have to make any eye contact. You know, I can sit right next to this person and just cube with them and enjoy being with them without the pressure of having to socialize or whatever. But that's what I'm doing. I'm spending quality time with them, and I'm spending quality time with my kids whenever I cube with them. And there's something really special about the Rubik's Cube.
Yes, there's a lot that is understood without having to say anything.
Yep.
And there's an inclusiveness that's right there just because you have a cube and a mat and a timer. Oh, and you've got lube. You know, there's just a lot that just goes, okay, I understand you, you understand me, let's do this.
Yeah, that's right. Even if we speak a different language, it doesn't actually matter who you are, where you come from, or even how fast you are. We just have this shared thing that we get to do together. It's really cool.
I was driving back with one of our delegates from Warm Up Seattle, the pre-party, I call it, to Worlds. And we were talking about this. Our delegates do a lot.
Yeah.
More than people can imagine. And I was saying, you know, these competitions, it really is a lifeline for a lot of these kids.
Yeah.
And it's pretty powerful. I think the parents really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's right. That's something that a local parent told me too, that their kid struggled with fitting in at school and with different people. But once they found some fellow cubers, it was like they found their tribe. They found their people. And that's just so heartwarming to hear. That's what we want for our kids, right? We want them to find their people and a place where they belong, but then also can then make others feel like they belong. Yeah, and cubing does that really powerfully.
Something I like that you put in the videos is having different people say Rubik's Cube in their language.
Yeah.
Their home language. This isn't just local. This is a global community.
Yeah, that's right.
What are the moments that stood out for you the most at Worlds? And hey, is there a moment you wish you'd captured, but you didn't?
I wasn't there for, okay, in terms of the stuff which I didn't capture, I wasn't there for some key things because I was running around getting footage while I was editing. So for example, I missed the opening ceremony. I missed the flag ceremony, which I'm a little bit sad about. I wish I managed to capture that. The live stream was great for moments like that I missed. I also missed Timon's 5x5 world record average. Again, the live stream was fantastic, but it would have been great to see that in person. But my highlight for Worlds is easy. It was 3x3 blind finals. An easy highlight for me. So Charlie Eggins, also known as Cheggins, is from Brisbane, and I have seen him at almost every competition he's been to locally. I remember when he first got what it was. What was it, like a 40-second blind single? And everyone was like, who is this kid? And it turns out that he taught himself. He learned three style, which is a blind solving method, during lockdown because he could. And he was just, going from strength to strength and doing the impossible, winning all these competitions here, getting a world record. And then in 2023 in Korea, he narrowly missed out on the podium, getting fourth place. And so my dream going into this, into Worlds 2025, I'm not kidding. Someone asked me like on day one, what's your goal? And I said, my goal is for Charlie Eggins to win blind. Like, that is my goal. It has nothing to do with me, but nothing would make me happier. And it was just nail biting. Like, you just couldn't script it better than that. It was such an intense blind finals. And he won. The boy from Australia won. He took first place, and it's so deserved with how much he's putting into that. He's also the nicest guy on earth. He is, and his family, right? The Eggins,
Yes.
They are the most beautiful people, the most supportive family, and it's still I don't have words. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that happened.
Congratulations, Cheggins and family. Not everyone knows that they are also known for being the family that had 18 members of their family compete in one local competition.
That's right. Yeah, and that has to be some sort of record as well.
I also liked that, and I didn't know this till afterwards, there were at least 2 families who had 3 generations competing at Worlds.
That's very cool.
You had 2.
I had 2, yeah. But no, that's very, very cool to have 3 generations. Surely we can do 4 at the next Worlds. We're just putting that out there. If anyone's listening to this and you think you could do 4 generations at a competition, let me know. I will feature it on my channel.
We're going to get some grandparents and great-grandparents cubing.
Yep.
Okay, so for your channel, I know you're creating content. This is what you do. You're not a teacher anymore. You are a YouTuber, a content creator. After going to Worlds and meeting so many cubers who are your fans, your subscribers, does your content strategy change in any way, or is it just keep on doing what you're doing? What's your plan?
Can I actually say that I also met people who I've been fans of as well. So there were a lot of people who have been my heroes as well. I got to meet Z3Cubing, for example. I've never met him before. And I got to tell him how much I admire his videos. These are YouTube channels who precede mine, and I have looked up to them a lot. So it was really special for me to do that, to even see them, see them working in their craft as well and making videos. In terms of content creation strategy, no, not too much changes. I'm going to continue making weekly videos that showcase all sorts of different things. I do have a pretty nice treasure trove of content that I took from Worlds, so that's going to slowly start coming out. I've got maybe a dozen shorts that will be coming out from Worlds. A few unexpected things happened. For example, I didn't know that there would be a room for puzzle creators and people who 3D printed their own puzzles. And I showcased that a little bit, I think, in my day 3 vlog. But I really wanted to just spotlight that even more. I mean, these are guys who I think are geniuses and maybe don't know it. And, to just create puzzles is crazy. That's going to come out this weekend, actually. I'm going to do just a little video spotlight on them. Maybe, won't be a viral video, but I don't care. I think that they deserve some attention, and that might ignite some sort of interest or, again, spark some flame in someone else who can go, hey, maybe I can do this too. Plus, all those guys deserve more attention, and I hope their channels grow as a result. So, yeah, there'll be some stuff coming out of Worlds. But otherwise, it's probably back to our regular programming pretty soon. There's so many things, so many puzzles that I've yet to unbox and things which I need to feature.
Sounds good. Just like you look up to Z3Cubing, a lot of cubers look up to you. Many of them have thought about starting a channel or starting a channel. Some of them already have channels, and now they're even more inspired to create, having attended Worlds. Do you have any tips or suggestions for budding YouTubers?
How much time do you have? We can go like 10 hours, right? I'm sure they'll be fine. People will listen to this for 10 hours. This is almost all I think about, ideas and making content. And so I can talk about this for days. I can condense it for you if you like it to. What I think is the very heart of it. For me, I think that most YouTubers will say that there are two pillars when it comes to creating content and thinking about what you should create on YouTube. The first one being what you want to make. So, what is stuff that resonates with you that you think, that you can see yourself doing long term. That's something that you're passionate about. And then the second one is, what do our audiences actually want to see? and in that Venn diagram, we need to find the part that overlaps the stuff that you actually want to make and the stuff that people want to see, aka what the algorithm likes, I guess, stuff that's going to work, that's going to get pushed out. And I like to say that there is a third pillar, and I think that the third very important one that maybe doesn't get talked about as much is, what is the stuff that needs to be made in terms of what's going to actually improve humanity on a whole. Because you might make stuff that you want to make and that the algorithm likes, but it's just not
brain rot.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, I can see some value maybe in some brain rot content in terms of like entertainment value or like making people laugh, but I am a strong believer in, again, if we have a short period of time on Earth and every breath counts and we have the potential to improve people's lives, like why wouldn't you? Like why wouldn't we make videos that increase people's hope or make people feel better about their lives, or like there's a reason to keep going and there's a reason to be kind and that there are good reasons to forgive. And, why shouldn't we model what love looks like in all its various forms? And so to me, it's these three pillars. You want to make content that you want to make content that people want to watch, and then why not make content that's actually going to improve this world? That's ethically, morally, everything, positive, and will leave this place better than when you first came. All right, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Can I follow up with that a little bit?
Yeah.
So I imagine some of the kids will hear that and they'll say, okay, what I want to make, what people want to see, and then something makes the world a better place. But how do I figure out exactly what covers all those?
Yeah, that's a great question. Those are lofty, like philosophical ideals, right? I think you just start somewhere, and so it's hard to come up with completely original content. There's an extent to which every video that could be made has been made, and so what we're now creating is just different like permutations of what has been made before. Ooh, cubing little reference. But, why not? If there is someone who has inspired you, do your version of that, Don't just wholesale steal their idea. Take that idea and see what your version of it would look like in your time and place with your experience and with your sense of humor and little things. What's unique about your perspective? What do you have to offer as a young person or as a person from this part of the world that no one else can provide because it's just you? I don't know, maybe you've got like a pet that can be part of the videos and it just adds this cute little aspect to it that, wasn't there before. Yeah, that's where you start. You just start where you are. And as you keep going on your journey, I think the road ahead of you reveals itself.
There's just enough light for the step.
Oh, that's profound.
There's a yoga channel I haven't watched in a while, but it's a big one. And yeah, Benji is the dog that's in it. And when you said that, it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
It could be even just a stuffed animal that's in every video.
Yeah.
Or
that's right.
Something that sort of gives you that character.
Yep. It's something that's unique.
That stands out.
Yeah. Or something that hasn't been done in the cubing space. Sorry, you asked for advice, so here's some advice. I think that if someone watches YouTube a lot, they know what a good YouTube video looks like. And if you find a really, really good video, let's say in the chess world, which is just adjacent to cubing, hasn't been done in the cubing world, like do that. You're not stealing their idea. You're, I guess, taking the concept, but again, that's what artists do. We repurpose and we take things that were used somewhere else, and then we see what it looks like in a new area, and that's do that. A video that works really well in for some other niche, like you can be the first person to make that in the cubing niche, and that would be really cool.
I was going to say Taylor Swift has made a lot from breakup songs, but like she's not the first person to create breakup songs and make money off of them.
No.
Just taking the concept with her own style of music and his.
Are you a Swiftie? Is that why you confess that?
My daughter loves Olivia Rodrigo.
Uh-huh.
But you know who is? Matthew Dickman is a big Swiftie.
Really? Wow. Hey, so is Felix.
Okay.
He's a big Swiftie.
We were setting up the flags for Worlds, and then I was like, oh, should we play some music? It always help us move faster, you know? And then he was like, okay, Taylor Swift. I'm like, what song? He's like, any of them? I'm like, okay.
That's great.
So now that you're a seasoned veteran with local comps and major championships, what do you hope? What are your wishes for future major championships?
Yeah. I mean, just get out my crystal ball real quick and tell you what I see. I love the fact that all these people who made finals at Worlds this year were nowhere close to finals at the last Worlds, or hadn't even entered the world of cubing. Is that what Kevin said about CCN, for example?
Yes.
Great. I think he said something like, our next finalist wasn't at Worlds 2023 because she hadn't, and I thought he was going to say because she hadn't even been born.
Okay.
Which would have been hilarious.
Okay.
To have like
23-month-old would have been really amazing.
That would have been really amazing. But I mean, that's a classic example, right? 2 years ago, she was like, just getting started, and now top female in the world. Like, so proud of her.
Placing 4th in the world.
That's right. 4th and the last finals, World Finals. I don't think there was a single female at Worlds, and so for her to get 4th, just missing the podium, is the most amazing thing ever. And so my wishes for future major championships is I would actually love to see fresh faces. I would love to see more girls. That's a big passion for my daughter as well. She worked really hard at trying to encourage as many female cubers that she saw at this championships as well. And I would love to see more representation, people from different countries, just more color and more diversity, really, because I think that will better, more accurately reflect what cubing looks like. That's my wish.
And I hope you get your wish.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need an ending to this episode. Do you have any ideas? What do you do on your channel?
All right, let me summon all my YouTube powers and see if I can give you something really good for this podcast. Hey, if you just enjoyed what you listened to, why don't you like this podcast on the app that you're listening to? That would really help us out. Share it with your friends, give us a heart, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Speedcubing 101 podcast. Woo!
Okay, that is so YouTuber. If you enjoyed listening to this, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I also have the audio version on YouTube. Please subscribe there. You can also leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and I would appreciate it very much. If you have any questions, suggestions, or corrections, please email me at cubemomofficial@gmail.com. That's cubemomofficial@gmail.com. Thank you, Tingman, for your time today.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay, go Cubers, go. Say that. That's what I say at the end. You say that too.
Go Cubers, go. Woo!
Thank you, Tingman, for sharing your experience at Rubik's World Championship 2025. Tingman will be back on a future episode to share his cubing journey. I mentioned earlier that there's a little surprise at the end of this episode, and that is that this is not the only recap of Worlds that I will have here on Speedcubing 101. There are more recap episodes coming soon, so please subscribe so you could be one of the first to hear them. There's definitely a place for major championships such as Worlds, but as you heard when Tingman shared, his highlight was Cheggins winning 3x3 blindfolded. That really shows that our global community is really rooted in our local cubing community, and the way Tingman felt for Cheggins winning really shows how much he has seen and supported Charlie in local competitions for years. So that type of celebration only comes from being present and invested in his Brisbane local cubing community. As we all return to our local cubing communities, let's support each other and cheer each other on, creating the bond so that when your local cuber wins, the whole community is celebrating, just like Tingman was celebrating Chegan's win. Thank you for listening to Speedcubing 101 today. Again, I'd love your rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, but please do subscribe so you could be the first to hear the upcoming Worlds Recap episodes.
Go Cubers, go! Woo!